Once you've been paid, it's so easy to start spending without even thinking. And before you know it, the money's all gone and you're left counting down the days until the next payday. It's a situation that we've all been in and you can't help but wonder, why does this keep happening? Now, I don't know about you, but when payday comes around, I feel excited and a little out of control at the same time. For me, it used to be the same cycle of spend, 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 and then wonder where it all went. So I decided to make a plan and systematize my spending, because without it, I'd keep finding myself in the same stressful situation month after month. Now, what worked for me is what I'm going to share with you in this video. So I'll walk you through 6 simple steps to follow as soon as you've been paid. These steps help me take control of my money and avoid some common mistakes. And hopefully they can help you too. Because like anything in life, if you track your actions and have a system in place, you're far more likely to achieve the goals that you've set for yourself. The first step in any smart payday routine is figuring out how much you need to cover the essentials. And so these are your non-negotiables. So things like rent or mortgage, your groceries, utilities and transportation. So you can think of these as your survival expenses. And here's why this matters, because studies have shown that nearly 64% of people in the UK live paycheck to paycheck. So how do you figure this out? Start by making a list of your core expenses, then double check for any extras that you can trim, like unused subscriptions or overpriced services. And ideally, these essential expenses should be less than 50% of your income. If they're higher, you need to look for ways to cut back, like switching to a cheaper phone plan or maybe using public transport. By figuring out your essential costs, you get your survival budget and you'll gain clarity and set the foundation for managing the rest of your money. Because it's not just about survival, it's about being intentional with your finances. So before you do anything, find out approximately what that number is, because it will help with everything else. Step number 2 is building up your emergency fund. Now imagine the peace of mind you'd have if you knew you had 3 to 6 months worth of essential living expenses saved up. How would that impact your stress levels? Picture being able to face any unexpected life events, whether it's losing your job or falling ill or dealing with a sudden home repair, without the fear of not being able to afford it. And that's the kind of security an emergency fund can offer, and why it's such a key component to any financial plan. Now, many people aren't prepared for financial emergencies. The Money and Pension Service revealed that nearly 11.5 million UK adults have less than £100 in savings, meaning that most of us would be hard pressed to handle even small financial shocks. Now, a YouGov survey found that nearly 40% of UK adults would struggle to cover an unexpected £1,000 expense without going into debt. So this just highlights how critical it is to have an emergency fund in place. So how much should you save? Now, to determine the right size for your emergency fund, you have to use a survival budget from step 1, multiply your essential monthly expenses by 3 to 6 months. While 3 months worth of living expenses provides a basic cushion, having 6 months worth saved up offers even greater security, especially if your income is unstable. That extra buffer just makes sure you can navigate prolonged periods of financial difficulty without needing to rely on credit cards or loans, which could just deepen your financial worries. One key thing to remember is, because I make this mistake sometimes as well, is that this fund should only be used for genuine emergencies. It's not a holiday fund or something you can kind of casually dip into for non-essential spending like dining out or maybe like upgrading your phone, because you really need to set yourself very clear and strict boundaries on when to use this fund. So here are some tips to help you build that fund. The first is start small. So don't be discouraged if it feels overwhelming. Start by saving just 1 month's worth of expenses, then build things up from there. Because even an initial £500 or £600 can offer significant relief in minor emergencies. The next tip is cut expenses temporarily. Now, if you're serious about building up this safety net as quickly as you can, look at your current spending and see if there are areas where you can very temporarily cut back. And the third one is use windfalls wisely. Any unexpected income such as bonuses, tax refunds can give your emergency fund a quick boost. Use these windfalls to build up your fund a lot faster. Now, the payoff is once your emergency fund is in place, it allows you to move forward to the next stage of financial planning. Step number 3 is pay off high interest debt. In the UK, a staggering 86% of adults report having some form of debt, making it a common reality that many of us have just accepted. We often find ourselves purchasing luxury items that we don't need to maintain a lifestyle that may be beyond our means. One of the most challenging aspects of debt is how severely it can limit your monthly income. Hefty repayments on credit cards or personal loans and car finance, for example, can quickly diminish your ability to save or invest in the future, and especially if those interest rates are 10% or more. You have to eliminate that fast. Now, lots of the common advice is to heavily cut back on small items like buying coffee from outside instead of making it for yourself. So what's the best strategy for paying off high interest debt? Now, there are 2 primary methods you can consider. The first one is the avalanche method. This approach gears towards loans with the highest amount of interest rates first, so think like credit cards or payday loans, and other debts with interest rates of above 10%. Now, if you concentrate on these loans, you can save a lot more money in the long run, and mathematically, this method is the most efficient and cost-effective way to eliminate debt. The second way is the snowball method. While this is less efficient, it definitely takes a more psychological approach, because here you start by paying off your smallest debts first, regardless of what the interest rate may be. Now, the quick short wins you can achieve by eliminating these smaller balances can build up momentum and motivate you to tackle these larger debts. Now, this method can be quite nice because it comes with a lot of psychological benefits and small wins. Now, if you're serious about reducing the debt, you should create a detailed spreadsheet to track your progress. You need to include each debt, the outstanding balance, and their respective interest rates. And with every payment, you need to update the spreadsheet, and that will just help you with visualizing the path to becoming debt-free. And now, by having a clear vision to make all of the debts go down to zero, it'll keep you motivated and focused on the goal at hand. Once you have tackled all the high interest debts, you'll likely find yourself with more disposable income each month. The next step is to ensure you're making the most of your pension contributions. Now, in the UK, this is commonly known as the workplace pension, while in the US, for example, it's often referred to as a 401k plan. Now, one of the key features of this plan is that the employers typically match a percentage of your salary contribution, so essentially offering you free money towards your retirement savings. Step number 5 is making use of investment accounts. Now that you've completed the previous steps, it's time to think about investing your money. Before diving in, you need to open up a tax efficient account like an ISA if you're based in the UK, and in the UK you can contribute a maximum of £20,000 each financial year, so that's April to April. The advantage of an ISA is that the gains you make are completely tax free, so investing can seem overwhelming with the sheer volume of information available, so it's very crucial to do your own research and to understand the investments that you're considering. One effective approach is just to invest in index funds such as the FTSE 100 or the S&P 500, because these offer a well-diversified portfolio, and historically the average return for the stock market is around 7% per year, but you have to start as early as you can, because the longer you have your money invested, the greater your potential returns are. So aim to invest a portion of your income monthly, because this consistent habit can help you grow your money over the long term. Now, I personally prefer investing in index funds because when you adopt a long-term investment strategy, you don't need to check your account daily, weekly, or even monthly. Once you've set up your regular contributions, you can let your money grow, only checking a few times a year if you want to. And don't let the stock market fluctuations cause you stress, because many people struggle with the ups and downs of the market, which is why a passive investment strategy like this is much easier to handle. And one common mistake that investors tend to make is withdrawing their money during the market downturn. Now, when the market is underperforming, they may stop investing or pull all the money from their funds, waiting for the right moment to re-enter. This approach is very risky because you can't predict whether the market will rise or fall. Even if you do successfully withdraw when the market is high, you must be just as fortunate when reinvesting later. So really, the best strategy, supported by data and research, is to just invest a fixed amount every month consistently, regardless of market conditions. The final step in your paycheck routine is to automate your finances where possible, ensuring everything is taken care of without much effort on your part. Now, I used to manage all my finances manually, and it was not only time consuming, but also very mentally draining. By automating your finances, you free up your time and mental energy for more important things, while ensuring you stay on top of your financial goals. It's a proactive way of controlling your money before it controls you. Here's how to set up an automated system. When you receive your paycheck, it will first go into your regular current account, and from this account, all your essentials and necessities will be paid. These payments should be set up ideally as direct debits, so that way they're always handled on time without you needing to remember the due dates. Next, you want to account for any discretionary spending, such as entertainment or dining out, and you can either leave this in your current account or set up a separate account. Now comes the important part, your savings and investments. Set up a separate savings account that automatically receives a portion of your paycheck. This money will contribute to your emergency fund, your savings, and your investments. For example, if you're currently focused on building up your emergency fund, you can create a dedicated emergency fund pot within your savings account, or set up a completely separate account just for that. Now, automating this process just makes sure that your savings and investments can grow consistently without you needing to think about it every single month. The key benefit of this system is that once it's in place, your financial goals, whether it's building an emergency fund or saving for a house, are consistently met without you having to actively manage every single detail. Those are steps to follow for a strong payday routine. But have you ever wondered how much savings you should have by age? Check out this next video over here to learn more.